Greetings, everybody, and welcome to That Game Place. That's right. We are ecstatic. We're excited. We are happy to see you during this brand new year of 2025. And we're going to go forward hard and heavy this year. We've got so much news today. We won't get to it all. We have so much news every day. We won't get to it all, but we're going to try. And I've got my great panel here with me, as always, and more on the way. Including these couple folks. We got Nolan Thunder. What's going on, Nolan? And we also got the Marvin, the movie monster, and the writer of stories. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Epic. Let's have a great show.
Right. Editor of stories, poster of stories, pusher of stories,
writer of narratives. Well, I think you're just a marketer at this point. It's marketer Marvin.
Right. Yeah, Marvin the marketing monster. That was my first pitch.
I think that's a good pitch. Speaking of a good pitch, we've got several. So I want to say hi to the chat out there. We got some folks that are back, like the Davina Duckworth. We got Joseph Frost Ghost. We got Juliet. Good afternoon and evening. Good to see you, dear. And of course, Ninja Pat 15. Let's go. Yep, we were a couple minutes late. That is my fault. We've got Postum in the house. Howdy. We definitely need Western game developers to drop wokeness. Yes, indeed. Yes, we do not want to be ceded to the CCP. D-Bud Martin's out there wrenching away. And Nolan wants you to get hyped. So get hype. Culture, do you play Rivals? Not yet. The question is, will I? And it sounds like the answer could be yes. Very
I do here and there. I haven't in a while, but I do like it.
Yeah, we got Wes Trueblood. Howdy, Culture. Greetings from chilly San Antonio. It is chilly, isn't it, Wes? And it's good to see you here. And Comics Dad, who's got a brand new effort going. So check out Comics Dad. We've got, again, I just want to say Araxis. Good to see you. He does play Marvel Rivals. Please tell.
Oh, but I don't play as Jeff.
You don't play as Jeff?
No.
Oh, all right. Well, there's that.
Typically, am I
almost everything I've seen about Marvel Rivals so far has been positive. I finally saw some gameplay of it today, and it literally just looks like Overwatch with Marvel characters, which actually isn't a bad thing because Overwatch back in the day, I don't know if you guys played it or not, it was actually a fantastic shooter. And before they just broke everything about it and basically removed the first game, it was actually one of the premier video game franchises.
Marvel Rivals is Overwatch for people who want to play Overwatch again, but don't want to play Overwatch.
Right. Yeah. And that's actually the best description I think I've heard for it, because it is a superior Overwatch to Overwatch, especially Overwatch 2, which everybody keeps telling me turn to poo. So that doesn't sound good. But what does sound good is Crunts Punts. Good to see you. Hail to you. And bass player 2011 Iffy in the house. Nope. Done with online shooters. Fair enough. Yeah, we don't have to all like the same thing. That Invisible Woman costume. Unfamiliar with that.
He's a man of culture. That's all I'll tell you.
Well, here's the thing. When they make the female characters in this, they're not afraid to make them look like women.
Feminine.
That are feminine and attractive.
Yeah,
not to mention, it actually makes them look like, the comic books, because that's not just with women. Dudes, they are super muscular, and that's true of the source material, which a lot of stuff these days seems to lack.
Yeah, it's true. John JID 999 says, yo, I'm at work. Well, I'm glad you're joining us from work. That's very cool. Let's see. We got all of you so far. Those of you that straggle in, I'll still say hi. But we got to get going because we got too many stories to talk about. And you know what? Today we are featuring Marvin the Movie Monster in most of these because, well, he wrote them. So let's take a look at our first one up, and it is Marvel Rivals. For whatever reason, there's been a leak out there. Marvin, I'm going to let you take lead on this one after I get to the fact that Fantastic Four is reportedly joining the roster. Wow, that'll be fun. Now tell everybody why this is important.
Well, it's excuse me. I mean, it's important because this is a major game that a lot of people are playing, and they're adding in legacy characters and actually doing them justice. There's no race swapping going on. Sue Storm actually looks like a actual woman. They're also adding in Jean Grey and Emma Frost, and they look accurate as well. It's just kind of like a get hyped kind of moment because Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, The Thing, that's going to be a huge addition to an already extremely popular game. It's not everything has to be about outrage. Sometimes we could just be excited for things that are happening out there in the world of gaming, and I'm excited for this. I really like the Human Torch. I think he's going to be really fun to play as because I like flying characters. So I'm assuming Sue will be more in like a support role. But yeah, this game has been incredibly popular, and the fact that we're getting more characters and big characters this early kind of shows where they're at. I mean, you're not seeing them adding Echo or anything like that. They're adding actual mainstream Marvel characters.
This is the most tried and true. Oh, sorry, Culture. I was just going to say, this is the most Marvel looking thing I've seen out of, because Umbrella Company, Disney, I'm kind of shocked we're even getting this headline. It's the most Marvel looking thing I've seen probably in like a decade. Am I wrong there?
No, you're right.
No,
you're 100% right.
And it's more like the things that traditionally Marvel fans are familiar with, right? I mean, and I just want to say hi to Tebow out there. Good to see you. Minimal Effort Live, Minimal Effort Gaming. But so this is showing up, and Marvin, I'm going to ask you this, but it's printed here that it's going to show up as early as Friday. Is that the actual expectation?
That was the expectation. Yeah. I have not done a follow-up on this since this was printed, so I need to check to see if that's actually still happening because I wrote this, I think, last week.
And so we have this coming up. It's basically been out for a month, and it's been just whipping everything's butt, right?
Oh yeah. 10, over 20 million players across all platforms within, its first week. And just absolutely dominating. Go figure. No identity politics, no pandering, no forced anything. And there are people that are trying to push their narratives. There were people that were saying we need gender swapped versions of all characters in case people are feel uncomfortable playing as a male or something like that. And I'm like, well, there's female characters for that. They seem to be. That's the thing. This game was created by NetEase, which is a Chinese company, and they don't really care. They don't care about your American identity politics.
There's the secret sauce right there.
Exactly. That's the secret sauce. Stay away from the identity garbage and the other stuff, and you'll be fine.
Just have fun. Perish the thought.
And as wonderful humans in the chat have already stated, stop giving into that stuff so you can be as good as these Chinese studios, which is a weird thing to say. But look at all these characters that are in here. I mean, that's 33 so far, not counting the additions that are coming.
What's fascinating to me also, Culture, is these characters are more than, they're not all just like, it's not like every like tank character is like a reskin of the same model. It's they all have their own very specific controls, and some of them are hard. Like I tried to play as Spider-Man first, couldn't do it. It was insanely difficult to play as Spider-Man. Iron Man, however, super easy to play as, which is why I play as Iron Man.
Well, there you go. If you're looking for a difficult character, Spider-Man. If you're looking for a tough one,
looking for one Iron Man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to say this as we wrap up that subject. I'm kind of excited. Now you guys have me almost talked into playing this, and I have my controller sitting right next to me.
That could be our first gameplay stream. All of us getting together to play Marvel Rivals.
I think that might be fun. I'll have to make sure I get my my capture card put together. Looking forward to it. So hopefully we can do it.
I believe it's cross-platform, so I think we'll be able to make that happen.
Fair enough. All right, I'm scanning. Don't see any supers as of yet. So we're going to move on to our next story, which I think is a very good story indeed. But before I do so, the return of the Mac has occurred. You don't know what I'm talking about, but let me drop the Mac on you. Jonas J. Campbell. Hello, sir, and welcome.
Hey, Culture. Good to stream with you, buddy.
Good to
Good to
see ya.
stream with you.
The return of the Mac?
Hello. Also, Marvin the Movie Monster and Nolan Thunder.
There you go.
Hello, I love your new style you got going on. That's a very classy arcade you got there.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's
There's nobody there.
Well, of course not. It's my arcade. Why would I?
Oh,
want
it's
other
your
people
arcade. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, but see, what I love is that I think I see Street Fighter.
Yes. Yes, that is Street Fighter. And some kind of racing game in the corner. It's the generic Chinese knockoff that I never ended up learning the name of.
Oh, it's Temu pole position.
I don't think I want to know any more about that game.
Yeah, that didn't sound so good. But let's talk real quickly about another amazing game story. And did you we just talked about Rivals. So you know what we're going to talk about next, Jonas?
Overwatch?
No, Rivals. That's right. Over on Rivals, apparently, Nexus got upset. So the Donald Trump Captain America mod resurfaces on Nexus mods for Marvel Rivals after being banned again. So the writer of said article can actually influence how the path that I take on this particular subject, because I'm going to ask you a question, Marvin.
Sure.
Is this still there? How many times has it been there and gone? What's going on?
So I was doing an article yesterday just about the fact that it had been taken down. So I went on to Nexus Mods and I looked up, Donald Trump Marvel Rivals, and it was there. And I was like, oh, it's back. Okay, well, I guess this is going to be a different article. So I started writing the article as if it was banned, but now it's back. And then I went and I grabbed a screenshot of it real quick. And then when I went back to see it again, it was gone. Like within 10 minutes.
So mind if I ask?
It sounds like they're having a crisis of the soul over there at Nexus Mods.
Well, I think people just keep uploading it and they keep shooting it down.
But what I'm asking here is, so does the mod only affect like the individual user's game, or is this something that once they mod it, like everyone else playing with them is going to have Trump in their game as well?
I believe everyone sees it.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because the one guy that I saw, the one guy that I saw using the Trump, he wanted to find a player that was using the Biden mod and like pit themselves against each other. And so I'm assuming that means you can see it. But yeah, no, it's by the way, the Biden mod was also taken down. So it's not like a good, it's a good for the goose, good for the gander kind of thing. It's for me, but not for thee. They are taking down all political mods in Marvel Rivals.
Well, I think it would be even better if the people who have the Biden mod have it on, and they're the only ones who are aware that it's on, and everyone else just assumes everything is going on as normal.
Or they're just running into the wall nonstop.
Joe Biden is my favorite Marvel character.
Well, I think that they also banned the Joe Biden one, and I guess that's their policy content stuff, is that they just don't allow for political stuff. Do they ban anything else that you're aware of, Marvin?
Not that I know of off the top of my head.
Like quote unquote adult content, probably, right? They probably ban that as well.
I don't think they do. I mean, based on what I saw and what I saw people saying, I don't think they do. I didn't do a super deep dive into other things that they banned. I just kind of kept the focus specifically on the political stuff. But yeah.
So apparently, according to your article, it says this marks the latest chapter in the saga of political mods for Marvel Rivals. The Trump mod had previously been banned alongside a Joe Biden Captain America mod, both of which violated Nexus's mods guidelines aimed at maintaining neutrality and preventing divisive content. While the Biden mod has not resurfaced, the Trump mod's brief return has reignited debates within the modding community about free expression and content moderation. I think that's going to be a hot subject across the board, because we just had this happen, right, with meta platforms changing the way that they're going to content moderate, right?
I don't know. I don't know if I view this one as free speech as much as I do that this is modifying someone else's game. This is one that definitively affects someone else's experience here.
Yes, I am more in line with Jonas's way of thinking on this. I was basically like, well, this is immersion breaking. This is the same as if I was walking around and somebody's, playing as the Sentry with a pride flag cape. Like, or Helldivers 2 when they wanted to add the capes and stuff like that for like the flags of countries that people are, advocating for. It's immersion breaking, and I don't think it should be in there because people are playing games like Marvel Rivals because they want to unplug from the political climate of modern day United States.
That's a very good point there. And did you guys remember a few years ago when I believe it was Animal Crossing New Horizons when they had the was it the Joe Biden Island or something like that? It completely broke all the immersion. It just was bringing the real world into a fantasy land. And when you have these kinds of mods, I'm usually all for, fan games, mods, give them a fair chance to be out there, let the community show their colors. But when you start getting into areas where almost nobody likes politics, you're going to have stuff that's going to start affecting the rating by inappropriate mods and stuff. It's not just a personal item you purchased anymore. It's something that's there for the public to enjoy. And much like, say, going to the grocery store, I think they can work to, respect other individuals that might not align with the same kind of values they do.
Yeah, and Spencer, who's not on the panel today, is correct. After that was done, no, he's got the link, I think.
He's got
Culture.
Yeah, he's in the group.
He's got the touch.
He does this all the time. He pops into the chat before he pops into the stream.
Yeah. Spencer is correct, though. They did it in Animal Crossing, and then Nintendo said, no, we're not doing this again. It was like you've done this one time. You've made us aware that there's a problem. And then they said, we're not doing this anymore, which I think is good for Animal Crossing, because Animal Crossing is my nice little Zen world that I like to go to relax. I've never had anything stressful happen to me except for those flipping bees that show up every now and then. That's the nice way to pay off debts, by the way. I pay it if you feel like it ones from Tom Nook. Yes, you have no choice in whether or not you get them. But when I look at something like this, when it is it's a cosmetic mod on a multiplayer online game, yeah, I can see why that would be a huge distraction. When it represents someone who exists in the real world, that can affect gameplay. That can affect the way that, one of the stories that we've covered on this channel is a campaign from people at thegamer.com who wanted all players who use Cybertrucks in Fortnite to be targeted for their use of Cybertrucks. Even if those players were underage, they wanted them to be punished for daring to endorse something that is owned by Elon Musk. And still, I think that's kind of borderline there, since the Cybertruck is a real world vehicle. They have plenty of real world vehicles in that game. But having a prominent political figure who is still alive in the game, yeah, I can see why that's gone. There's also a part of me that really loves the meme culture of all of it. If Obama was the first quote unquote digital president, Donald Trump is definitely the first meme president. So
good point.
It's cutting out the ability to do a meme in the game, which is, it's no fun, but at the same time, I get why they're doing it. Of course, I would get why they wouldn't do it. I'm that stick in the mud from that Park Place.
You're fine. I still think it's interesting, and obviously Endymion did something about this not that long ago, talking about people wanting gender swapped things in Marvel Rivals, which is also kind of a political thing, is it not? Identity politics?
Of course it is. But now the difference is here, the Trump mod is a mod that somebody, did on Nexus Mods and, put into the game. The other side of the aisle likes to make their demands directly to the developer that would make fundamental changes to the game forever that everyone would have to deal with then forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the nice thing also with this game too is like the fact that from at least everything I can see from, a more casual perspective here, the game doesn't seem like it's jamming any sort of politics at all down your throat. If this sort of same thing happened to a game like, I don't know, let's use Concord as an example here, then if they were selectively choosing, what stuff to remove, then it's like, well, the developers were already going in with politics from the get-go. Whereas here, it's kind of like Minecraft. It's a neutral ground. So it's like, hey, it's not a big deal when it happens because the developers weren't trying to go in with an agenda, if that makes sense.
Could you imagine if somebody popped into, like, in the 2 weeks that Concord was live, if somebody popped into there with a Trump mod on? the meltdowns that would have occurred, the triggering that would have
just
happened.
Want to watch the world burn.
That's true. I mean, some people do want to see the world burn, but that would have definitely burned the world, at least for those 12 days that game was actually up and running. Yeah. What a tragic loss there. Let's see. That was last month's. Leading game chart. We had to reset it. Which I am prepping right now.
Go ahead and do that. But while you're doing that, we do have a little bit more we need to talk about with the Trump mod. Apparently, we have angered a sleeping giant over there from the western part of the country.
Yeehaw! What's going on, everybody? It's been a while.
Hey, it has been. Well, it's been a while for all of us, but we are back.
Wow. We are. We're here to play. We're here to read the news. We're here to catch our breaths after going on a run.
Bless you.
Okay, so thank you. Really, I only have one thing to really add on this Trump mod thing, which is this was obviously banned by Nexus Mods, and at this point, I don't know how else to say this. I wrote it in the chat a second ago, but when anti-woke people or right-leaning people try to put these mods on Nexus Mods and then they get removed and then they go, oh my God, they hate us. It's the exact same thing as when super, leftist people go to that bake shop in Colorado and say, bake me a cake for my gay wedding. And the guy goes, no, I don't believe in that. And they go, oh my God, why do you hate us? Ban them. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
Nexus Mods operates like this. So going there and putting these mods up and then trying to make a story out of it you're just kicking up dust.
Agreed.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, there is a story to it. Nobody made up a story, but somebody definitely had the reaction you're talking about, Spencer. I mean, there is a story to cover there.
Yes.
I mean,
totally.
Is it a story to cover whenever the bake shop says, I don't want to bake a gay cake?
Anymore, it seems to be.
Well, it shouldn't have been in the first place. It never should have been in the first place. That's the only reason is when if you go to that bake shop and you know what their stance is, and you still say, hey, can you bake me a cake? And they go, no. And you go, I can't believe you didn't bake me the cake. It's you knew what you were doing and you're just trying to stir up shit.
I had initially passed on this subject when I had first seen news of it, and then I picked it up the next day because when I went to go look into it, it was back, and I thought that was interesting.
The fact
that was
that
when
it got
taken down
re-uploaded
again.
or whatever. Yeah,
that was when it got taken down again. So it was more in the lines of like, oh, there's like a little war going on over there with this, like a tug of war.
Yeah, see, that's a story I can get behind, but just going, oh no, they took it down. It's like, of course they were going to. Duh.
Yeah, I had no idea that they had a policy against that, but hey, like I said, it's to me, it's fascinating when things get yo-yoed like that. I mean, there were some Bethesda mods or Bethesda games that had mods on them that got regularly uploaded and removed and uploaded and removed. For Skyrim specifically, I remember several mods being yoinked from that. But so there's a little more Marvel Rivals, but here's an interesting story because and we'll get to it in just a second, but I've got one that's very similar to that. Not exactly that, but the fact that we're staying in these shooter genre types of things. I just want to say thank you to today's gifties out there from Butterbiscuit 92 and Silver supporter, a Tipping Barn. Again, lots of question marks because we're the beginning of the month, so we're starting brand fresh. But
everybody's got a chance.
That's right. Everybody can get in there. Did you want to read the super duper chats that are from these sponsors there, Jonas?
Sure. Although I don't know. I haven't been here since the start of the show.
We haven't done any. We haven't done any.
Let's see here. The first one that I see is a Tipping Barn for $1.99. Shh, Dad's here. That's right,
you.
kids. Daddy's home. That's right.
That's right.
With this audience, there's a lot of dudes in the audience, so maybe that's not the right time to use that one. Butterbiscuit 92 for 5. You guys need a modded on the channel. They allow mods for sex positions, children's deaths, and lots of spicy content, but presidents are too spicy.
Oh, see, that's ridiculous that if they're allowing like sexual stuff on there. Yeah.
See, and this is the kind of stuff that I wouldn't even bother to go look for, because I mean, I would just be happy to be able to play the game, because then I have time to do so. So
yeah, I saw a mod the other day that came across my Twitter timeline, X timeline, sorry. That was
no, you were right the first time.
Tifa as Morrigan, and I was like, I don't like that one very much. I mean, I like it, but I don't like it very much.
Yeah,
anything's better than the Morrigan they had in Veilguard. My goodness, did they turf that character?
Oh.
Anyway, but thank you guys for the super chats. We will press on with another story about an online shooter of renown, repute, or
disrepair.
Maybe it's being ruined. But this is coming to us from Bounding Into Comics, which
I know that place.
Yeah, I think.
By the way, good to see you, Comics.
I like that place.
Yeah, great to see you. We've got this guy. This guy's Spencer. I know this Spencer guy. It says U.S. Department of Defense officially designates League of Legends Path of Exile 2 parent company Tencent as one of many Chinese military companies operating within the country. Now, we have our own version of the story, which we were going to get to later, but you want to dive into this one, Spencer?
Yeah, let's definitely dive into this one. So we're going to have to do a very quick little like 2-second civics and history lesson real quick. And we have to go back to the year of 2020. My bad. I don't know what time is anymore. But in the far off year of 2020, good old then President Donald Trump made an executive order saying that in light of the fact that, China is building up all of its military prowess and they're basically using all of our money to do it, he would be banning the investment by Americans in Chinese military companies. Now, fast forward to the next year, and we have our the National Defense Authorization Act, which is basically our funding for our military every year. And in that bill, it always has a bunch of, this is how you're going to use the money. We have these programs, we have these rules, yada, yada, yada. In 2021, they introduced a rule saying for the next 10 years, the Secretary of Defense every year has to give a report to the Department of Defense saying, these are the various companies I think are affiliated and working with the Chinese military. Basically, any time they profit, the Chinese military is profiting. And that can hold various different penalties. Obviously, there's, the investment ban. Starting next year, the Department of Defense will be banned from even like working with any of those companies. Like you can't even buy products or services from them. So that's what led to this. So yesterday, the Secretary of Defense dropped their 2024 report. And in it, among the 100 or so, 200 companies that were identified as a Chinese military company, Tencent was among them. Now, we unfortunately don't know exactly what bit of their specific operation caught the attention of the U.S. government. And Tencent has come out and gone, this is wrong. We're not a military company. We're going to fight this. However, this is China we're talking about. It's like, what is it? Like all for one and one for Xi, pretty much. So yeah, if you're doing business over there, if you're profiting, you are giving money, you are supporting the CCP.
I was about to say, isn't every Chinese company?
Oh yeah.
Essentially, it is a fully communist country. So every company in there with an organized board of any kind is essentially got a member of the party on the board and therefore a member of the government on the board, at least one. So
government's not the party. Oh yes, it is.
It is. And you have no opportunity to succeed in that country unless you are. I mean, it was kind of wokeness wasn't organized in that same way in the United States, but that was the thing that we were trending towards when you have to have everybody have the same ideology. This is the thing that we were warning against for a very long time over here in the United States. And Tencent is massive. Tencent could pick up Ubisoft and no problem whatsoever. By the way, Yeah, they could pick it up and not tell their, if they were an American company, like that's at the range where maybe they wouldn't have to tell their shareholders they bought it. Like that's
But I think, isn't that like a big dig against Ubisoft with all of their failings? Like Tencent's already an investor, they're already in the room, and they're still going like, let's see what other deals can come across this table before we buy it all.
right. And maybe they're even waiting for it to go lower. Maybe they're waiting for Assassin's Creed Shadows.
I was going to say, come February.
One story that we did early, I think last month, basically Tencent is stalling on actually buying Ubisoft because the Guillemot family wants to maintain direct oversight and control after
Which is the most insane request I've ever heard of any business deal.
It's like, I'm gonna sell you my company, but you're not gonna have any say in anything that happens, and I'm still gonna run it.
And I'm still gonna run it, even though the reason I'm selling it is because I've run it into the ground.
Right.
Just give me your money.
I need to look up does anybody have a current valuation on Tencent, which is more than a company that invests in video games?
It was around, I think it was around $28 when I checked this morning.
Right. So, and 86 billion in revenue.
What I'm seeing right now on the market summary, Tencent Holdings ADR $47.97.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm seeing, Marvin.
Okay, yeah, you guys are right. I juxtapose numbers, but market cap right now in intraday is 470 billion.
That is,
it is down.
So, and we're talking about Ubisoft is 2 billion, and they already own a sizable portion of Ubisoft at this point. They own near
10%.
Near half, if not more than half. I don't know why the Guillemot family holdings allows.
No, they only have 10%.
Oh, that's a lot less than I thought. And they own a pretty decent portion of the company outright. So this is the video game side of this is why we're talking about this. But this is a company that is more powerful than, I mean, they're double the size of Disney, if that's any reference that people want to go against here.
That should be a number that should be more regularly raised, because I feel like you've told me that, but I heard it right now and my jaw just did a little like half drop.
Yeah. So they own, Tencent Interactive, Tencent Music, Tencent Pictures, iFlix. They're a huge company that goes beyond all this. So the military aspect, well, that's the one that really makes me raise my eyebrow here. And like Spencer said, if we don't know specifically why the Department of Defense said it, like, for instance, TikTok, it seems like it's this innocuous thing that is just draining people's attention. But as far as most departments of state for states are outright banning it for security reasons, I got a ping on my server saying that TikTok was being pinged on something. One of my kids had CapCut on their phone, which is owned by ByteDance. So, okay, I get why that is. Yeah. So, and there was a thing with TikTok in specifically where once Apple made it to where the paste function, it would actually tell you what app was requesting to paste and from where, that the people who were running TikTok were, you're going to do that now? You're just going to try to paste? You're going to have people notified
wait,
that?
Don't do that.
Exactly. So they're information sponges over there. Whatever big data is doing, China is doing the same thing. So you think about the number of these that have an open microphone into your home when you have League of Legends.
Yeah, dude.
Going.
I hate this.
It's a wiretap. It's just a more fun version of a wiretap into your home. And with artificial intelligence able to parse out the spoken word into text and allow that to be searchable on a major level, this to me is a security concern on a level that I don't think we were all considering here. I turned my microphones off for the most part when I'm not using them, but this is a little bit scary. Maybe I've talked too long here, but I think this is a big grown-up problem more than just a video game problem. It is
1,000%. I think you're hitting the nail on the head, Jonas, where we don't know exactly what part of their operations got them in trouble. And if you go look at all of their public stuff, there's not going to be like the 10-cent missile with the League of Legends tie-in shell or anything. Like there's nothing like that. But to your point, they're a huge information technology company. All it takes is, I'm just gonna, here's our new mouse, or that this is hyperbole, but here's our new mouse, and everybody installs it, and there's just one little chip in there that says, oh, send all of your strokes or whatever to the government, like to the CCP, and then we're completely boned.
Right, or like a wireless range extender in your house that is marketed for a little too low of a price, and then all of a sudden you have an unfiltered connection from your house going straight to, I don't know what company, but if that thing's manufactured in China,
Well, but okay, just a little pushback here. It wasn't just obviously the video game company here. We also had CATL, Cattle, which is the battery manufacturer. Those batteries are used in everything from, mouses and mice. I don't know, mouse, keyboards, all the way through Teslas. Cattle actually makes batteries for Teslas as well. So the fact that they are tying all these companies to Chinese military isn't a good sign. And the reason that that everybody that's was cited in this particular report, their stocks are all crashing. So, obviously, the stock went down for Tencent and Cattle and even ByteDance and stuff like that. So you've seen this happening across the board. But here's the other problem, and Jonas pointed this out, and I think you journalist types will understand this. Not only is this company huge, as we've described here, twice the size of Disney and even bigger than SpaceX elements of Tesla.
Keep saying it.
They own a 16% stake in Elden Ring, let alone Ubisoft, which is the next story we've got coming up. But when I look at this stuff, right, and lots of people have written articles on this today. There's almost no escape from this unless, somehow the U.S. forces China to extricate itself from companies that it's going to allow to go public. Because if it goes public here in the United States, it's obviously going to be influenced by the fact that the United States government's going to call it out for, maybe being involved in the military or something. Right? I mean, isn't that that's not in investors' best interest? It's not in the company's best interest.
So you're right. You're right, Culture, but there is a delineation to be made, which is there's a difference between investing in the company and like buying their products, right? So they're not like if we go to straight up war with China or whatever, the government's not going to say no buying items from China, because everything is probably going to have some touch of China somewhere in it. It is they're more concerned with directly investing in them, because investing, they're not talking necessarily about us, what do we call the retail investors. They're talking about the big dogs. They're talking about the hundreds of thousands. So that's what they're concerned about, company DBA over here giving an investment of like 3 million to the company, because that's where they're going to go, oh, that's all immediately going to be used for warfare. Whereas the business stuff, like, you're 10 cent might see 15 cents of your purchase of Elden Ring, and maybe 3 cents of that goes to the military program. CCP. Still bad, still very, very bad, but scales.
Right. I think the larger concern is the data that they have access to because of their ownership. If they have backdoor access to information, like what is active on your network, the things like a simple thing like saying, will you allow this app to have access to the Bluetooth, to the items that are connected via Bluetooth on your network or other items on your network? That one is the one that I'm more concerned about. So there are so many things that it's all compromises when it comes down to it. And there's a comment here, Comic said, that is concerning knowing who owns CapCut. I did not know that before. I use CapCut for all my editing. Yes, I would say 168 pings in the course of 1 hour that were made to Chinese servers while that app was active.
Dang.
So
that's excessive.
I've blocked that on the network level on my on that device.
Jonas, you beautiful man.
Yeah, I do that. I do that from the router side too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that some of that could be innocent, but a lot of that is honey trap the right word here to use it? They're using something instead of trying to say we're going to install a bug into your house. They are trying to get maybe Trojan horse.
That's better. No, there you go. You got it.
That they're trying to get you it's something that you can't live without, something that they can tempt you with, that you're like, well, it's this one thing I enjoy, so it's fine.
Or even super innocuous things. Like, I am a big fan of like LED light things to have around my room, whether they're just like boxes or whatever, light bars. A lot of those come with little remote controls, so you can change the color, the effect, yada yada. And a lot of those controllers come with like, you can get it on your phone, so you can just control it from your phone. But I'm like, I just bought this thing for like $3 off of Amazon. There's no way I'm installing an app to use this because, I can change the light. Well, now you have all of my credit card info.
Exactly.
I knew I shouldn't have bought that LED fishbowl.
You shouldn't have. You should only buy fishes that are mounted to the wall and sing.
Yeah, so watch out for Cap Cudachew, no matter how cute it is.
Sorry for going down the information security rabbit hole here.
No, I think it's
video
great.
games too.
We're talking about video games.
I'll throw this in for free. If you ever open up an app and they're saying, we'll find your friends for you if you give us access to contacts,
don't do that.
Never do that. Especially if you have any of my numbers on your phone. Never do that.
Yes, I will equally hate you as well. So
I don't do that. I just manually sign Jonas up for all of these services.
You'd be surprised. I have a channel called Everything Woke.
It's not that deep culture. Don't call out my joke.
Pretty much every service I sign up for, when it asks for phone number, I put in Jonas's number.
Yeah, you're not supposed to tell him that.
57.
Yep. All right. Well, Tennille89 for 5. The end of Ubisoft. Oh no! Whatever will I use now to fill that landfill outside my apartment? I actually thought about signing up for Sony's games service that they have on the PlayStation 5. I let it lapse and I forgot. That just shows you how much I enjoy my PlayStation games right now. And I was looking through the Ubisoft classics, and I was like, I can't be bothered with this right now.
No, you really can't.
Hawaii Dragon Star for $5. Are large game companies with Tencent as an investor have been dropping in value while small ones are growing bigger, or am I wrong?
No, that's kind of what it looks like. I think you're on. You're on a good track there.
I think, and this might be me being a little optimistic, and even in the most optimism, I think there's a little truth to it here. When you see the smaller developers, like the one that's popping up off the top of my head is Grinding Gear Games, who does Path of Exile. They just launched Path of Exile 2 into early access, and I know people are absolutely bonkers about it. They are loving it. I've heard nothing but good things. I think we're looking at this sort of like when a small developer gets a big investment from a company like Tencent, their mentality goes, now all these things we had to sort of like shelve, we can actually work on these things. We can improve. We already had to build the base because we didn't have the money. Now let's improve. Whereas you have somebody like Ubisoft, they go, we have 7,000 billion more dollars. Okay, let's make more DLC for Assassin's Creed. They don't look at it with the same appreciation. They just see it as like cool, we can do whatever we want now.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tennille89 again for 5, maybe a false equivalency.
Super chat so far.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is his 10th super chat for the second time.
He's so nice. But having outside parties with a hand in production is what leads to some very loud pagers in the Middle East recently. I was trying really hard not to reference this when we talk about, malicious actors producing things. And I'm going to say malicious actors, but it was ingenious because they knew a cultural reason why only a certain kind of person would be using a pager. But yes, that's the kind of thing that you should be looking out for when someone is not in tune with your way of life.
Well, it also helped them build out a network of numbers and the ability to track them and everything else. It was kind of an intelligence gathering thing as well. So I think
what we need. what we
Master
need?
class in statecraft.
We need phone numbers that have a special lock on them that you actually have to have the permission of the person who owns that phone number before you can share that. It doesn't have to be a phone number, but man,
Or how
That's
about-
called
how
being in
do
the
we not
mafia,
have
dude.
yeah, yeah. I think you just with a threat of or penalty of
Yeah.
severity tied to it. Yeah, I just want to say that yes, we have updated the leader, already updated the leader list today. We've got still, because it's the first day of the month, no platinum member as of yet, but gold supporter, we've got Butterbiscuit 92, T Neil
Butter.
89, and Hawaiian Dragon Star. Actually, T Neil just pulled into the gold
Dragon
supporter
Star.
place, but it is what it is, and thank you. We appreciate you.
We don't deserve you guys.
We
It's
do
true.
not. We do not. We never have, and but we'll try to. We'll try to deserve
Yeah.
you.
Oh, 100%. I like that.
Yeah, we appreciate you. All right. Let's move on to the next story because, hey, we are through 45 minutes of this show and we have so much to talk about.
Hey,
And
hey.
this is the one I
Oh,
wanted to be our leader of the day. Our leader of the day. And what we've been talking around since the very beginning is Ubisoft, the freaky French company that thinks that they are going to be able to retain control despite selling out to others. And as Marvin pointed out in this January 1 article,
Marvin.
That's right. Marvin is king. Marvin, the market cap seems to have dropped 85% in just 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's so bad. That's so bad.
Yeah, they released the new numbers on January 1st and took a look at it. It was just like
Apes
no,
together
that can't be-
broke.
It's like that can't be right. And then like looked into it and yep, from 12.17 billion in 2021 to being worth only 1.78 billion by January 2025.
12 to 1. That is,
Yeah.
I'm just bad with numbers in general. So there's probably a bunch of our viewers who are like, relatively, that's not that much. But to me, that's insanity.
Well, not
No,
only that,
that's-
Spencer, but they've got $2 billion. They've got over $2 billion in debt, which means now their debts they're now
Outweighs their
upside down.
value.
Yeah, their debts exceed their
Oh my
value now.
gosh.
So bankruptcy's coming like a freight train, boys, unless something happens.
Oh, I mean, what does that do to your P&E ratio, Jonas?
I was in accounting, not finance. So, what price to earnings there? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd have to
yeah.
go look it up. The thing is, if you had a house that was worth $12 billion or $12 million, this is still not a good $120 million for that house to go down.
One bedroom apartment in Los Angeles. Got it.
Exactly. This is an amazing misuse of I think anyone here could do better than the people who are currently running Ubisoft at this moment, and they're just grasping onto power for that to be worth what are we talking about, $17.8 million instead of a $120 million house. The bank would come and take your entire house at that point because they would wonder, what in the world did you do to this house?
They'd call the police because they would just presume there's a meth lab that you built in the backyard.
And that would explain the quality of things that we've been getting out of Ubisoft at this point. Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia,
they just released an NFT game in 2024. December 2024.
I couldn't believe it when I read that headline. An NFT game in 2024.
When you look at this graph that shows their market cap over the years, that drop from 2021, it's not like a straight drop down, but it's like if you fell off a mountain and then hit multiple rocks on the way down and just kind of kept bouncing slightly before.
I was literally going to say it's not straight down, Marvin. It's like the Simpsons when Homer, they get him out of the canyon and then he goes right back down it.
Yes.
The amazing thing here to me is that somehow they still exist as a company. They went public and they haven't, and whatever happened with the proxy fight there from that, I want to say Scandinavian, probably Slovakian, whatever company that was trying to get representation on that board to fix what was going on there. They were at a higher valuation at that point, and now they're down to a measly 1.78 billion. It sounds
it's like we saw with
ridiculous to say that.
what's his name over the Disney guy who I'm totally blanking on.
Nelson
Peltz. Yeah. Once like the general public and the like C-level investors, once they see like, oh, somebody actually is going to come in and maybe, kick them in the butt like they need, that's optimistic. And then when that fails, they go, oh, okay, Agatha season 4, let's go.
Well, I will tell you this: the PE ratio right now for the company is -30.
There you go. A negative P&E ratio. That's bad.
Negative.
Yeah. It's very strange. We are at a weird time for this company. One of which this company has had in the past a wonderful ability to surge in growth and market cap and everything else, increase in value. They haven't had that for a long time, according to this lovely graph included here in this article from our good friend, Mr. Marvin here. And when you look down here at the bottom of this lovely chart, this is like back where they started kind of territory, with a lot more debt. I think we're beyond the idea that they can prevent bankruptcy at this point, especially with Assassin's Creed Shadows coming out. I don't think that's going to have a positive effect on their stock price. Anybody here want to argue?
I would say it's going to be hard to save the company with Assassin's Creed Shadows when I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to lose them around $200 million.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I am. If you look at this game and everything that appears to be wrong with it, even if you go back to just the fact that they wanted to have a paid battle pass on this game, which is already offensive to begin with. This is before you even get to the idea that they have done this weird historical revisionist thing. It's not even revisionist. It is literally changing history. You take a game set in feudal Japan and you finally get an Assassin's Creed game that is set in feudal Japan. And no, if you're from Japan and you wanted to play as a Japanese character, no. You're going to get this African guy. Why are you getting an African guy? Because some white guy said that it should be an African guy. That is so weird and so uniquely American Western civilization kind of garbage here.
From a French company, which is odd.
Right. But what was the guy's name? Thomas Locke, that wrote this historical fiction that when they decided to market it in the United States, they marketed it as historical fact. This is bizarre to me that anyone would invest this level of money into a game like this on the assumption that they should be making any swings for the fences. They need to make it as safe as possible. And maybe this is the problem with this entire weird ideology here, is they assumed that everyone was behind them. They had people like the Larry Finks and maybe the Tencent people, because Tencent obviously owns part of Ubisoft, saying, no, go do that. Everyone will love it. It just seems like that moment where that clip from Titus that we keep seeing of the little boy about to put a fork into a light socket and the mom is telling him stop it, and then Stacy Keach, that's the guy's name for those of you who don't know who Stacy Keach is, going, no, let him do it, let him see what happens. I don't understand how so many people with so much money said, yo, just keep doing this thing, it'll be fine.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be fine. It seems like there's about to be massive destruction of an entire company and a yard sale of IP that's going to happen here in the next 6 months to 8 months. I don't even think it'll be a year. What do you guys think?
Oh no, not a year. No way. As soon as Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out and 2 weeks goes by and they can't run a bunch of like best-selling game ever headlines, we're gonna get the Ubisoft has been hit with layoffs like headlines for me and Marvin.
Oh, totally. I'm already waiting for it.
Yeah, you guys are going to have a field day. And speaking
our
of
copy ready to go.
Yeah, speaking of which, there's supposedly a best game ever, best sales ever story out there that we're going to cover next. But just to stick with this,
did you see? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, Culture. It's really quick and it reminds me of this, but it reminds me of one of the guys who wrote Jimmy Carter's obituaries for like the New York Times. He died in like 2013. So like they ran it and they're like he passed away in 2013, and it's like wow, he outlived Jimmy Carter, or Jimmy Carter outlived him. That's what we're gonna do.
Get
it ready.
But by the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that article was also partially written by Francesco Salbach, which is he's well not part. But he gave me a lot of the information, especially stuff about the debt to valuation. He's a finance whiz in a way that I'll never be.
Well, and I believe that he will be joining us here at some point in time.
Yes, yeah, we do have that on the. He's a lot of fun to talk to. He's from Norway. So.
Well, that'll be even better. With a name like Francisco, where else could he be from?
And if Frank, if you're watching, check your DMs, bud.
There you go. But I'm gonna put it this way. Ubisoft is going to be a much lighter company in 2026.
If they even are a company in 2026.
Yeah.
Well, I have a feeling they'll hang on to something.
What do you do with a brand holding company like Ubisoft that has no brand value whatsoever? The brand of Ubisoft is just that, like it's like EA. The only time that it comes up is when they are being mocked publicly. There is no strength in that brand whatsoever. So it's not like if Tencent decides to absorb them, the only reason they would use Ubisoft is as a mask to say, no, we're a French company. We're not a Chinese company. This is
what you do, Jonas, is you mash it up with Fubo and you hope nobody remembers how bad it failed.
That's the Disney move right there, isn't it?
I actually, you know what? I'm glad you see it the same way I do, Spencer. Is in Fubo's going to be the fall guy for this failed.
100%
venue. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to do a video on that, and I'm like, I don't think any people would get that or would care because it's just so buried in the minutia. But I think it'd be fun to look at it from that perspective.
But what happens when all of a sudden, I mean, obviously China has their own agendas here, but if NetEase, which is a completely different company than Tencent, not a complete, I'm sure there's some ownership shares in common there, but what they've been doing with Marvel Rivals, if you apply that same philosophy to Assassin's Creed and Prince of Persia, and all of a sudden you just have hot people everywhere, and they are doing things that are like amazing moves, and they're doing things that are like, oh, that's really cool. I want to learn how to do that kind of stuff instead of this preaching at you thing that Ubisoft seems to be known for these days. What does it say if a Chinese company comes in and does it better than the quote unquote Western company? And if we even want to call France Western.
No, they're not. Well, at least not with Macron there, but Macron is going to be gone. Yeah, I know that's not his name, but he's a crony. So Macron. Anyway, yeah. What would you say, Jonas? I would say obviously they're going to do better. They're not bound to this particular type of ideology. They're just bound to the government is the religion ideology.
They're allergic to money. That's the basic.
The French,
Ubisoft. They want the office, and maybe that's it. Maybe they're going to have a ceremonial title. They'll have a Guillemot that is guaranteed a position somewhere at the title. They will make him the company mascot, like Colonel Sanders actually held no ownership stake in KFC once it got bought out and got big. Like
he's the chief fun officer.
Exactly. They can put an animatronic Guillemot right there in the offices.
He's going to be.
They got to repurpose the Kamala one somehow.
Wow. I can't even match that one. Well, what I can match is some more super chats, I think.
That's right. Jacob Foxfires for $5. The French aren't good at gambling, it seems. Oui, bien sûr. All bets on Shadows was a clear gamble with everything riding on its success. takes a very long time to make a video game, doesn't it?
That's part of the problem too. Like, I would so that's how they ended up here. Now, if you go back, like, let's go back to 2021 when it was still worth 12 billion. They had plans that, on paper they thought were going to work out for them. They had things like all of their live service shooters, their like that Assassin's Creed, or not Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia that came out, X Defiant. They had all these things. They just thought they were all going to win. And when they all failed, well, now your big DEI swing with Shadows, that's what all your chips are on now.
But
you have nobody to blame but yourself. You had no contingency.
Okay, but wasn't all of that also heavily because of the heavy expenses that they undertook to produce these games, like Skull and Bones, $850 million.
There's another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. That all definitely plays into it.
If they legitimately spent all of that money on that game, they were reinventing a wheel that they'd already invented with Assassin's Creed Black Flag. 50% of that game could have just been grabbing everything from the game engine and expanding on it.
They honestly should have just done a remaster of Black Flag.
Really should have.
They would have made more money.
It would have. To Neil 89 for 10. Give me my platinum status. And before you respond, Culture, for an additional $2, kind of hard to say they don't deserve this failure.
Very much earned.
I think they earned every bit of it.
And then for $5 more, incompetent, delusional, and financially, we'll say nihilistic. What a winning combination. It's like the holy trinity of wokeness.
Yeah.
Well handled, Jonas.
Yeah. I will say this. By the way, platinum status demander. There you go. T. Neil is platinum. He's also gold because of this stream. And silver is Butterbiscuit and Hawaiian Dragon Star. There's some other people tied for second and third, like Jacob Foxfires and Radial Drago. But thank you. We appreciate your support.
Radial Drago for £5. The perfect example of go woke, go broke right there. It's insane.
Yeah.
I believe, Jonas, that was £5 sterling, right, Culture?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Proper money. Proper money.
Proper money. Yeah.
Proper money.
I steal that from you on my streams all the time because I think it's hysterical.
You're not stealing it from me. I steal it from others. I stole it from somebody else. So
a Marvin original. I knew it.
There you go.
By the way, I just want to say thank you to D-Bud Martin for modding in the chat. He's
a beast of modding.
Yes, thank you.
And he's promoting Marvin, and he's promoting Nolan, and he's promoting Spencer, and he's promoting Jonas. He's gonna start doing
promoting War Monkey. He's promoting you. Don't even try to say he's not promoting you.
I didn't say that. He promoted my Twitter.
And he will be dropping the pre-order link to Assassin's Creed Shadow to the deluxe edition. So none of you will miss it out there.
I'm gonna tell you right now, somebody on our team has to play that.
Assassin's Creed Shadows?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, got it.
What subscription service is that going to be on?
Man.
And I'll take that hit.
Ubisoftimus. Subimus.
Or are they going to be smart and not put it on a subscription service?
I don't think they are. I think they're going to make us pay for it.
I played Veilguard, so I think I'm exempt from this one.
I played Outlaws.
And Jonas played Outlaws, yeah.
Okay, this is
sounding
like
Switch.
No. So
what a wonderful
Thank
game
God.
of Knotted
I'm out.
we have going.
Yeah,
here.
this is not the best game of Knotted I've ever been a part of. We're going to volunteer Loki.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loki.
Oh, thank goodness
sorry,
there's an
Loki.
out for me in Culture.
Jacob Foxfires for $5. I'm glad Jonas touched on this because I have thoughts. Many people are talking about how China is poisoning us by funding DEI. They are the importers.
Yeah. A lot of our ills you can trace back to them, like as a nation, of their like subterfuge, whether it's our social ills, our fentanyl ills, our economic ills. They really got us by the balls at this point.
And well, I'm not going to make the same Eric Swalwell joke I was going to say just a moment ago. Tennille 89 for $2. Yay!
You're back on top.
And Hawaii Dragon Star for $5. American dollars. What is the chance that Ubisoft can completely course correct and redo Shadows in the limited time remaining and bring out a good game? Ooh, that is a tall order right there.
I would be, if they could do that in a month, because that's how long they've got, I would give them all of my life savings. I would be like, that was so impressive. I'm sorry for everything I ever said. Like,
I believe the phrase, I believe to coin a phrase, it's 0.0.
Yes, with the sword of exact zero. Jacob Foxfires for $10, but I still think all this blame is still on the companies. We are telling them what we want, and they keep serving that poison. If they go out of business because they are too far gone, I do not care. Yeah.
Well, wow, and thank you again for your contribution and support, Jacob. But yeah, I have Mr. Hardcore Mode is here. Good to see you.
Hey.
Hardcore Mode. But you know what? While you read that super chat,
okay,
and well, before I should say, we quickly respond to. Jacob.
I was going to say, let's respond to Jacob Foxfires first.
I was going to say, but I think Ubisoft has only themselves to blame, and the fact that they were so reactionary that they put themselves in this position in the first place because they were reacting to a so-called Me Too / Times Up kind of bunch of baloney sausage that actually removed the parties responsible at the time, other than the two brothers that had participated in it. Had two of the Guillemonts not been actually accused accurately, I don't think we'd be where we are. But even had they not reacted to those things, they would be in a better position now because they wouldn't have changed the entire politics of their office. It's the same thing that happened to Activision Blizzard at the time when it was only one side misbehaving badly. And while they should have reacted to it, they shouldn't have overreacted to it, which I would say most of these Western gaming companies did. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Yep.
That's an interesting sort of like what if scenario. Like, what if all these game developers went down this weird, like, neoliberal path, but they retained all of the talent? Would we be getting like terribly written games that were still fun to play? Who knows? That's
a really good question.
Yeah, it's fun, interesting.
Yeah, Jacob Foxfires for 5 more. All I have to say to those companies that took that poison pill is we tried to warn you. Yep. I hate this. You remember the discourse around Ugly Sonic back in the day, and not just we all hate this, but the people who were saying don't answer to these toxic fans. Toxic fans are the problem. I think this is the ultimate. I mean, the franchise has made a collective $1 billion at this point, and that is discounting the fact that the Paramount Plus show is only a loss there for them. This is something that they would not be where they are if they didn't listen to the fans. There is really something to be said. When everybody hates your product, it's not just malcontents.
Well, what you're looking at there is projection. It's that, I mean, who said it first? The Concord dev who came out and spoke to Colin Moriarty, he was the first one to sort of raise this, and it's something we should all really be, zeroing in on, is that culture of toxic positivity, right? All the people who said don't listen to those fans, if you like a good chunk of them, they also recognized that, Sonic was ugly, but they went, in their mind, you're not allowed to say anything wrong. Everybody's work should be cherished and valued as it is. And so if you criticize it, you're toxic. But it's like, no, like Jonas said, if we'd have listened to them, Paramount would be, I don't know, being sold off to Fubo or whatever is happening now. Like,
well, Skydance anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which, by the way, Skydance, partially owned by Tencent.
Ooh.
Mr. Hard, I think it's less than 10%, but still. Mr. Hardcore Mode for $10. See the Invisible Woman's malice skin? Me? That's not what she looks like in her books. In the books, her feet are exposed, devs. Should we change it? Me? Whoa. Hey, now.
That was an adventure.
It was. Yeah. When it comes down to it, this is the problem. If everybody points towards Wall Street so they can get some of that IPO money, initial public offering money, and then be beholden to Wall Street, it's really been the downfall of a lot of corporations. I think the Guillemot brothers were better business people than they were game developers. at any point. A lot of they took something that they were mildly interested in, being video games in the 1980s when it was a completely different landscape, and they had a wholesaling deal that got them where they are, and business deals and eventually now they have bitten off more than they can chew. They have made the ultimate business deal with the corporation you cannot outclass, which is the Chinese government.
Well, and I will just say this, that I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jonas, not only were they a wholesaler, but they were a new distribution hub for Europe, and they were somewhat of a localizer for games.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they did. And then they went into the not just the publishing side of things, but creation and distribution.
And I'm going to say something that I probably shouldn't say. That original Prince of Persia, while technologically very great, is not any fun to play. I can get why it was like you were in a desert of good games, of not good games at that point. Yeah. But that thing is rough to play.
Are we talking about Prince of Persia or the Sands of Time?
The original, no, Sands of Time was fantastic.
Okay, good. Because I was going to be like, Jonas, no, I love Sands of Time.
What? No, the original like DOS version.
Oh, dude, that one, standing to jump is the worst mechanic I've ever had to use in my life.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I mean, come on, we'd all been playing Ataris to that point, so let's just give it a little bit of a break. I mean, come on.
I'll still go back and play Pitfall on occasion, but I have no desire to go back and play Prince of Persia. I'll let somebody else play it on a Let's Play for me.
What I loved about that was the ripoff of the Tarzan yell. Anyway, well, we burned through all of that. I just want to say thank you to those out there. We appreciate your support, your financial support specifically. We try to never leave a super chat behind. So if we miss something, yell at Jonas. All right, we got to move on. We got to move on to the next story. And this, remember I said that this next story was going to be about success and financial success. Remember?
I just presumed anytime you say that on this show, it's sarcastic, considering the topic that we're talking about.
No.
This is the subject that we're talking about.
Yeah, this is going to be one that everybody's saying this. Analysts are saying this. Journalists are saying this. I put that in quotes. So let's take a look. This is from an outlet that I don't often give any credit to because they're oftentimes incredibly wrong. But from GameSpot.
You're bounding into comment. No.
No. I give you guys lots of credit.
I know.
GTA 6
poke fun itself.
GTA 6 could set new industry standards, analyst says. Now, mind you, we did a video on this that I think is going to come out tomorrow. I'm not sure. The releaser of videos is Jonas, so I don't know, but maybe it's already out. I don't know. But meanwhile, find out why Rockstar may have to face a fractured user base. That's right. GTA 6, folks. This is good news. I know it didn't sound like it, but it is. It's set for release later this year, fall. That's the extent to which we have an answer. It's expected to be among the biggest launches of the year. No, it will be, according to them and their numbers, the biggest of the year. While the market landscape has evolved since GTA 5, Rockstar's legacy of delivering groundbreaking experiences ensures that GTA 6 will leave a lasting mark. Rockstar's history of crafting genre-defining titles positions GTA 6 to set new industry standards. Now, this is all very vague, grandiose language. But do you believe the fact that this is expected to sell to the tune of $3 billion in its first year?
Yes.
$3 billion.
Hands down, yes.
In revenue.
Hands down.
Yeah, I would believe it.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you think that, like it's predicted by these same analysts, it will earn $1 billion in pre-orders alone?
Yes.
Because DFC Intelligence predicted that the first year sales of 40 million copies,
low
a total of $3 billion in revenue.
Again, this is Grand Theft Auto. For all of the complaints we all might have, rightfully so, it's still Grand Theft Auto. It's still going to sell like gangbusters. Most people, unfortunately, aren't aware of the issues we talk about here, which is why we talk about them. But this is still Grand Theft Auto.
That's a really good point. If this one stinks, it will affect the next one in a big way.
I was going to make
like
that point too. I was going to say it doesn't matter how well GTA 6 does. It matters how well GTA 7 does in 20 years.
Wow, are they going to?
That's a good point too. Yeah, in 20 years. Yeah, that's optimistic, Marvin.
They're fast tracking it to get it ready in 20 years.
They need to start on it now. To be fair,
you just broke my brain there. Yeah, but 20 years, that's about right. I stopped playing after San Andreas, and I went hard into doing San Andreas, and then I just gave up at 4 as far as GTA goes.
Oh, you didn't like GTA 4?
I never played it. I just passed.
Dude, you need to get to know Nico Bellic.
We must go bowling, Jonas. We must go bowling.
Yes.
You guys are making jokes I don't get here.
Exactly.
Yeah, for me, around the time of GTA 3, and I played a lot of Vice City, and then I played San Andreas, and it felt like it was a lot of things that were done at about a C+ level stacked on top of each other. So I just kind of like checked out at that point. Like, I don't need to dedicate my life to these worlds anymore. And
that's really fair.
Gotta say, I haven't really missed it. But you know, I could be tempted to come back into it, maybe. But there are so many.
A while to just go grab a car and cruise down the sidewalk. We all have it,
right? And then blow up something that shouldn't be blown up. But I don't know. I'm not the best to comment on what the success of GTA 6 would be. But if this thing turns out, if you get closer to release and it gets a lot more specific about what is in this game, if you actually do have a main character that is, let's say, not the gender that they present themselves to the world to
I don't even believe that rumor.
which is fine.
I don't want to believe that rumor, so I don't.
It just sounds so confirmation
biased. Wonderful 2 opinions that we just had there that are an excellent little sampling here of what it could be that is waiting for us on this game, or they could be removing a bunch of stuff from these games. I think this is all going to depend on what comes out about this game before it actually does hit the shelves. And if it's a bunch of weird stuff that confuses people, which I think they're probably going to get away from, if it is, I tried to explain this to one of my kids who wanted to know, what is Grand Theft Auto woke? And I said, no, it absolutely is actually kind of unwoke in the most anti-woke way that it can be. So the idea that these games would be preachy in some way is kind of like, okay, how would that even work in this series? If they somehow try to do that, it is against the overarching theme of the series, because this is about people who are the worst people out there doing whatever they want to do at any moment and offending whoever they want to offend. And the games are offensive on every single level to a comical point. So if these go woke, they have chosen the wrong series to do that. I'm not saying that some corporate overlord won't come in there and do it, but I don't know. If we get wind of it beforehand, that will tank. They will not hit 3 billion. We'll be looking at another Concord times 3 at this point.
No, this game is not going to. I know what you're trying to say, but there's no way a Grand Theft Auto game will ever be on the same level as a Concord. It will still sell. It will still be successful.
No, I'm talking about that 400 million times 3 is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it won't hit that, but it won't hit Concord level of nobody played it.
Yeah.
If I can say one more thing on the financials, for this game going forward, there's only so far in advance, we can predict. I think if this game does see another sort of delay or anything of that matter, I think that'll be really telling to what they currently have in the build of this game. But I will say one thing I am a bit concerned about for, Rockstar would be they had all this planned out, DLC for GTA 5, and that came out back in over a decade ago now. And they decided to cancel that DLC because they wanted to shift focus to Grand Theft Auto Online. And I'm not going to claim that I know all the inner financials going on behind the scenes, for those at Rockstar. But I do have to ask, we've seen a trend here in the past few years of, these major companies, especially AAA developers, going all in on, the live service game, the online only experience and all that. You have to think there has to be more than likely some kind of shift in financials that they're expecting this amount of income to be coming from the longevity of a game, as opposed to just back in the day where most of it was just on, base level purchase value. I will say, if GTA 6 does kind of hit some road bumps, because I don't think it's going to tank or anything like that, because like we all said here before, it's GTA. But I do see how, if this is a stumble, it could perhaps be a more damaging loss than just, for example, if GTA 4 didn't do as well, because they still had brand recognition. I think they're digging themselves a bigger hole if they decide to go for trends as opposed to timeless type games, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally. And I think that's where what Marvin said comes into play. Like, if they do that, we're not going to want to, like, the litmus won't be looking at the sales of GTA 6. It'll be what happens with 7.
Mm-hmm. In 20 years.
Yeah,
that's still in my brain. In 20 years.
When we're all in the nursing home.
Welcome to that nursing home place, everybody.
Yeah, that nursing place.
Culture?
I can't wait for word of mouth on this game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Or no. I'm, like I said, if I get my hands on this video clip that I am told exists by many people that are in the industry, I will break the internet.
Oh boy!
You'll just take a hammer to the internet and break it.
You and Kim Kardashian can have that.
Hey, I am going to Wreck-It Ralph this game.
All right. That being said, we've got some super chats that I would love to read. Do I have permission, Culture?
Of course. This is, you know what?
Whoa!
You official super chatter reader guy, super chatter reader XBL, help us.
Okay, Film Phoenix for 5. You also have companies like Snail Games at have infiltrated through entertainment companies.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with Snail Games. Which one is Snail Games?
I don't know.
Is that related to the Great Snail Race at all?
I haven't played a game since Putt Putt, if you believe the chat. So
what? You haven't played a game
you
since
didn't play Pajama Sam?
Putt's big day.
Freddy Fish was where it was at, man.
I'm just joking.
Spy Fox. Come on now, Nolan.
Snail,
I did play the Sly Cooper collection for the PS3, though. I did play that one time.
Yeah. Snail Games does, like, streaming games and film and some television, and I think they list here Ark Survival Ascended.
Okay.
Yeah, they're invested in a lot of things. There are some franchises to which they are attached. So yeah.
Mark Field for 199. Switch to release date ? Positive vibes. Well, positive vibes to you, Mark Fields. So I am trying really hard. This is a funny thing, and being on a game channel and being like, I'm tired of Switch rumors.
No, I am.
I would love, because I've been saying, oh, it's going to look like this, it's going to do that. There is going to be something there, and if Nintendo just decides, okay, this is an upgrade of the hardware, that's fine. But it's going to be a little overhyped at this point if that's all they're doing, which is okay. It's just I need something to happen here so that they can go ahead and announce Metroid Prime 4.
Jonas, it's gonna be worth the hype, don't you know? It's gonna look like the old Nintendo On hoax, where it's like a VR headset that changes colors based off of whatever Mario game you're playing, and you're gonna live real life Metroid. It's gonna be great, I promise.
I mean, the latest rumor that I heard, and I put no stock in this rumor whatsoever, but makes sense, is that we're going to be hearing within the next 3 months what that release date will be. That's what I've heard. The reasoning makes sense. It is after Christmas, which is the worst time to do it, which makes sense for Nintendo because they are insane from a market standpoint. So you know, maybe.
They release
And I
their
mean,
games on Tuesdays. Why?
They do, don't they? Speaking of which, that reminds me, I got to go stop. And I have tried to go to GameStop 4 times so that I can get like Donkey Kong Country remastered. Oh, sorry, Donkey Kong Country HD remastered for the Switch.
Yeah.
Pre-ordered there
Nice.
so that I can get the Donkey Kong barrel pen
the pencil holder. Yeah.
pencil holder. And they have been closed for staffing issues every single time that I've tried to go.
Staffing issues.
That's bizarre.
And they
Just
won't
cut
let me
Things are
order it
not
online
going well
and
over
try to-
there, are they?
and I can't even pick it up in the store. Like, guys, I'm
It's
about to
in
give
there.
up at this point. Just give me the pencil holder.
Jonas, this is a Cranky Kong meme waiting to happen. He's like, back in my day, employees would walk through
Back
5
in
feet of
my
snow just to
day.
go.
I used to know the guys that worked at that store so well that they would like hold back the pre-order merch that nobody picked up and be like, "Hey, Jonas,
Hey,
will want
Jonas,
that."
hook you up.
Hey,
Yeah.
I have
I-
a Luigi hat that I got that way.
Dude, there were games I got that were like special, like releases, super deluxe, weird sauce. That that the guys in my store. I was there like literally
so
3
cool.
times a week. I went down to GameStop.
Mhm.
That's how hardcore I was at one point. I was buying all kinds of stuff. It's how I got like this Star Wars tumbler that I use every single day. I bought 3 of these. I've found 2 of them. But that's how crazy I was. The guys knew me down there. I was buying all kinds of crap. That's how I got my amazing collection of the little plastic Nintendo bonuses, for lack of a better way of calling it. What are those actually officially called, Jonas? Since my brain melted when I got
Actual
sick.
Nintendo bonuses.
Yeah, no, like the little statuettes that added bonuses to your
Amiibo?
Amiibos.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's my
Amiibo.
brain.
Yeah. If I
Yeah.
ever
Used
go
an
on
amiibo
camera,
for the
I have a
first
lot of
time the other
amiibos
day.
to show you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say there was a very distinct moment that I had when I walked into the GameStop to cancel my pre-order of the DS Lite, I want to say, or maybe it was the DSi, because Nintendo went ahead and announced the 3DS.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, it was the XL. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. That was that was probably the dumbest financial move they had made since back when the Game Boy Micro came out, when the stores were already getting ready for the DS. The fact that they did this twice in so few years was insane. And I do have to ask before we change topics, Marvin, which amiibo was it?
It was I'm replaying Breath of the Wild. It was the Link Smash Brothers amiibo because it gives you Epona the horse.
Yep.
Did you get the little octopus monster guy one? I forget what that thing's called.
Octo Rock.
Yeah. Did you get one of those?
That Link, that Smash Brothers Link amiibo was the first amiibo that I ever bought. And
The only other amiibo I have is a Shy Guy, and I don't know what game it goes with.
I could just start listing amiibos and we'd be
Mario Party
for 30 minutes maybe.
Does any amiibo work with any game? Like, would a Shy Guy amiibo work on Breath of the Wild and give me something?
It'll give you like rupees.
On Breath of the Wild, any amiibo will give you like a piece of meat and an arrow and a thing. Like it'll
Oh, okay.
So
Culture. To your question, the octopus thing is called a guardian.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Guardian. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got one of those. Like I went out and went
not an octopus, but okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's an octopus.
No, it's not.
It is too. It's got a lot of legs.
Chat, we're throwing it to you.
Is it an Octorok or is it an octopus or is it a guardian? If they didn't have
let's do it.
Octoroks in Breath of the Wild, do they have Octoroks in Breath of the Wild? I know that they exist.
I want to say they do. But
We have kept this $20 super chat from Tennille89 waiting for too long.
That's our fun.
For $20 decades ago, when they were both still at NBC, David Zaslav and my dad, whose name is also David, LOL, had an interest in video games because they played Frogger. I wonder if that's Guillemot's qualification. That's about where I'm at with the Guillemot family.
Honestly, yeah.
I don't know that they actually enjoy the video games they play. Most of the decisions they make appear to be strictly business decisions, which can work, but you have to have somebody there that is passionate about video games. And I don't think that person is able to make management decisions there.
And not to mention that reflects like what feels like every company these days. Like no company, their CEO wants to basically distance themselves as much as possible from the IP or brand they own. Martin Stone, we were doing a episode of Lost Guys here a while back. We were talking about McDonald's, and we were talking about how it seems like a lot of these, people who own these or run these businesses, like they want to retheme all their restaurants, take all the soul out of them, because they are kind of embarrassed that they even own this sort of thing, or they want it to reflect kind of like something that's a little more classier and such. And if this is the case with, like Ubisoft and all of them, I think that would pretty much hit the nail on the head for why the issues that are happening right now.
Right. Well, you look at all these McDonald's that are now in a Bauhaus style, and as opposed to the McDonald's of the 80s and 90s, that they were basically a small themed area. The whole idea of McDonald Land and the King at Burger King used to be an unironic thing that they had, like a themed character trying to sell hamburgers. And now they all want to be cool and everything, and they want to be like Starbucks. I'm like, no, guys. The only reason that McDonald's right now gets my kids' attention is because they are not aware of how awesome and fun McDonald's used to be back in the day.
Used to be, yep.
I thought you were going to say they get the attention because of the Sonic toys they're doing right now.
Are they doing well? And those are garbage Sonic toys. I mean, honestly, like they're just a little plastic figure that clicks into.
Yeah, they're kind of sad.
No points of articulation. I remember when and this was later in the cycle here. By the way, I just got a notification from Nintendo Music that says that Donkey Kong Country 3 was just added to Nintendo Music.
They're nice. Somebody's just mocking you specifically right now.
Yeah. I love those Donkey Kong games. Yeah. McDonald's of the old era, cookies for kids, themed entertainment. They would have like weird trees in there, and now it's like, sorry, I remember the thing I was trying to say. They literally had Sonic, like Tiger Electronics style little Sonic games that they gave out in Happy Meal toys at some point. Yeah. And now there is something that I would expect to buy from a dollar store that was still ripping me off. That's the kind of Happy Meal toys that are in there now. Yeah. And I have to convince my kids that these things aren't great so we can get rid of them. Culture, this one's for you.
To be read by you, Culture. Jonas, it is your cousin.
And this one also from Daniil89. Daniil89, if you meant to send it twice, you can get one of them refunded.
I think this one was fixing the typo.
Jonas, it is your cousin. Did I say it right?
Is that a Grand Theft Auto 4 reference?
Yep, it is. Yep. Yeah.
And your cousin. We must go bowling.
Radio Drago for £5.
Yeah. Oh wait, you wanted me to read it as that was GTA 4. You wanted me to read it as GTA 4? Nico Bellic. It is your cousin.
Jonas, it's your cousin.
Thank you. Even better. Yeah.
Jonas, your cousin Roman. Where you been?
I cannot for the life of me confirm whether or not these are any good.
They are good.
Radio Drago for £5. I hope GTA doesn't go the way of Halo. It feels like we are past the peak of GTA and on a downward slope.
I think this will be the one to determine I think right now, I agree with that, but we're literally on like a plateau, and this game will determine whether we go cratering down or if we can continue climbing a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Hawaii Dragon Star for $5. Just saw that Infinity Nikki is possibly one of the most offensive games ever since it lacks diversity. You should do a game review on it.
All right.
Okay. Who wants to do it? Any volunteers?
Me. No. It's a big old weeby game. I can do one.
Oh, you can do a weeby game. All right. Very good, Spencer.
Yep. John JID, hey, welcome for $199. Y'all should look at how bad AEW Fight Forever is. I'm going to push that one to Marvin.
That's what I was going to say, Marvin. Aren't you supposed to stream that one?
I did stream it. It was a miserable experience, and I owe my audience one more stream. And it's like literally, I'm just like, oh, I could wash the dishes tonight. Like I look for anything.
I mean, I remember
it was the most frustrating streaming experience of my life.
You put off playing that first stream like for ages.
Yes, because it's terrible. If you look up the concurrent player count currently on Steam, it is currently, as of 2 hours ago, had 11 people in the entire world playing it, a 24-hour peak of 12 people, and an all-time peak of 1,428 players.
Wow. Well, have fun.
And at least two of those people playing are Tony Khan and Kenny Omega. So,
oh yeah,
Hawaii Dragonstar for 5. You guys remind me of my friend who made up 1% of a GameStop's top store sales. GameStop's store total sales for several years. They hired him and pretty much paid him in games. You know, the hookup hilarious. I always wanted to get was when they start throwing out things. I always wanted to know, because there was always something that I wanted that no one else wanted. Like, for instance, I picked up a copy of Everybody 1-2 Switch because I think those games are fun and they're great party games and my kids love them. But nobody that I know, if I say I want to play a video game, nobody says, okay, let's play Everybody 1-2 Switch. Jacob Foxfires for 10. Starting to feel like a younger Jonas. Well, you know, if you might be younger than me. If you're
so you're a baby now. That's how, I mean, Jonas is the most spry young man we know.
I'm an old soul. I had enjoyed GTA 4 back in the day, but 5 was really boring to me. You caused one explosion at the gas station. You've seen them all. Yeah. The aiming system was awful.
Like, I feel like that's one thing with GTA is I feel like it's done a very good job as far as progressing with the hardware it's been on. But as far as like innovation from what was going on from the build of 3, it would be nice to see them like expand more out into things, you know, maybe like really embrace the world. Maybe, I know this is going to sound really dumb here, but what if you had like a GTA game where someone had to get like a job at McDonald's? So you're doing basically like, you're trying to do like the mini games.
But that also sounds like the kind of thing that would be in a GTA game, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And
no,
then you could put like a
San
GTA
Andreas.
twist on it. You could like attack the customers. It could be so funny.
And by the way, to Neil89 for $2, that was a GTA 4 reference. And for $2 more, henceforth Marvin does the accent reads.
Yeah, he does. That's yeah. I mean, you're just better off. I'm sorry.
He's better.
When Mark Hamill got all sad and lost all of his spirit to like be all politically, you know, a wiener, his voice acting talents, they drifted into Marvin.
Thank you for that, Spencer. Packing protons for $5. McDonald's where all about the play places. Free Grimace and the Fry Guys. Yeah, but then they had all these people say, oh, this evil capitalist corporation is putting playgrounds where poor kids don't have playgrounds. We got to get angry with them, so they better take out their playgrounds.
Look,
I don't think they should free Grimace.
Is that what happened?
Those TikToks?
Yes. You put enough pressure on a corporation. Yes, that is what happened. That's why they took out all. They're also difficult to maintain. There's a business reason for taking them out, but yeah, they were starting getting.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like I'm against them until they get better cleaning like regiments on those ball pits.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, those ball pits were disgusting.
Yep.
That's where the coof came from, actually, not Wuhan.
No, it is not. You can't say that.
Was it that tweet that goes out, name a city that changed your life? And the guy responds, Wuhan.
You're gonna get us in trouble. I'm trying to keep us above board here, kid.
I'm talking about the travel industry. Going to the
don't start for like a week.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if YouTube will come in with their own. Yes, we're allowing. No, they will never. YouTube will never.
All of our channels are about to get rocked really hard.
Yeah, that would be interesting if Facebook becomes the next place that you can go and post content. They would just have to have more clear monetization policies over there. Also, there's a lot more above middle-aged people. I don't think that Zuckerberg is really understanding, like when they silenced a bunch of narratives around I'm going to be euphemistic here and I'm not going to be talking about the actual thing I say, fans of Avenue Q, when they said that all of the theories about the fans of Avenue Q that were on Facebook were not allowed, all of a sudden it made all the people say, well, then it must be true.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I think that's a dragon that that Facebook is going to have to figure out how to deal with, since they've said they're not going to slay it. Good luck, Mark.
Well, yeah. I mean, I mean, I think I have an article that might appear in that Park Place that talks a bit about that. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We've got more super chats. Culture, you seem to be occupied. So Tennille89 for 5 at Marvin. I think a RE4 make stream. Is this Resident Evil 4 remake stream?
I'm assuming that's Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah.
There's a mod that lets you play as John Wick. That sounds cool.
I have never played a
want this
Resident
right
Evil
now.
game in my entire life.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah.
See,
One of
even
my-
I
Literally,
played
the
Resident.
PlayStation 2 version of 4 literally had like a chainsaw controller you could get. It's awesome, dude.
One
I
of-
turned
one
that
of
thing
my-
down at GameStop. Yeah.
one of my very best friends is a Resident Evil fanatic, and I just I've never gotten into it.
Yep. No, I was not actually talking about Avenue Q. No, I was talking about
Ah!
I was talking about an anonymous group that might be fans of Avenue Q. So,
Oh, I get it.
An insider, if you will. Yeah.
yeah.
I was about to be like, I like Avenue Q.
Yeah.
Yeah. At first, I was like, "Wait, I haven't heard anything about this from Marvin. I would have known." And then I was like, "Ah."
Yeah.
You know what? I was hanging out with one of their supposed mascots at the time, which is not true, at the last TP USA event. So there you go.
Exactly. I think it looks like our chat it either flew over their heads or they do not care what I was talking about, which is totally fine.
We love you anyway.
We love you.
Yeah, Jacob Foxfires for $5. I'm curious about GTA 6 with retention. We are in an era of Fortnite and Game Passes that you are progressing towards something. How would they respond?
Much like, okay, so here's what we know for sure. They are going to continue GTA 5 online or GTA Online. The speculation is that there will be a GTA 6 version of the same thing. I don't know that they will necessarily try to merge both of those things, because graphically there's a substantial difference between 5 and 6, believe it or not. So most likely you will get a GTA 6 version of the online, but they are not going to move immediately to shut down that world. For all I know, they could try to merge them, but they are going to continue to lean into the rapacious shark cards that kind of make sure that you microtransaction yourself into oblivion.
Aren't video games beautiful? Araxis, hey, Araxis for 5. Just throwing out there, if you're ever playing Rivals, hit me up for a team up. Looking at you specifically, Jonas. Okay, I've tried to make sure everybody knows I have Rivals downloaded. I have yet to boot it up. I have never played a hero shooter.
Let me go.
So we're gonna have to see about this. Also, I might need to change my gamer tag to something that's a little more friendly over here. But yeah, I would like to do more game streams on that game place. We've only done one, and it was done poorly. But I think I've got a good plan.
Hey, when did we do one?
We did one when I did Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, I was about to say, did I miss something?
It was so awful that we decided to. I think I might have taken it down from the channel because it went so poorly.
What time did you do it? Was it like later in the day or earlier in the day?
No, I mean, I actually showed up to show support, and Jonas sounded very disheartened.
It was not a very good game. It wasn't any fun, and that's really the problem. I'm one of those sticklers that thinks that games should be fun. I've spent my time.
Get out of here, you purist.
I spent my time playing Quantic Dream slogfests like Heavy Rain.
Oh no!
If you're not gonna be fun, you have to have a really good story.
Dude, that was a rough game, dude.
So,
how long did you play it? Did you finish it?
I platinumed that game.
Oh no!
Whoa!
Yeah,
you are a man of infinite patience.
Yeah. If you get to a platinum on that game and you think, I could play a little bit more, that's a really good game. If you get to platinum on that game and you think to yourself, why? am I doing this? There you go. That's heavy rain for you. Radial Drago for £5. I forget, is the GTA 6 story the same as the one that was leaked by that hacker, or did they rewrite it? We don't know yet.
It'll be one of life's great surprises.
We won't know until it's actually out. And I think we are now at the end of the show.
No, we're not. We didn't get to the fun. There's one good story.
We've got to let Marvin go.
Wait, which story? Which story?
You wrote
look
it.
At that. He's got to go, but he wants to find out what the last story is first.
Because if it's the one that I'm thinking it is, then maybe I do want to stay for it. But
Helldivers 2 director slams DEI.
Oh, this wasn't the one I thought it was. Okay.
No, I know which one you wanted.
You got a live stream tonight, Marvin?
I do have a live stream tonight. Toonie Talk Wrestling at 8 p.m. But I've also got a lot of articles that have to be written between now and then. So I really have to go.
And edited.
Yes. And edited. Yes.
All right.
So I will duck out, but you guys enjoy this one.
Godspeed, Chief.
See you around, Marvin.
And the article I'm working on right now is with the Helldivers 2 movie. So make sure you guys check that out on that Park Place later today.
Oh yeah, that's another one too. Yeah.
Oh, but don't forget, reference the Horizon Zero Dawn movie that they're also going to be making.
That's going to get a separate article tomorrow.
I'm going to say it this way because I need to be. He's gone. I was going to compliment him to his face. He's writing great stuff right now, so we are very lucky to have him. So
yeah,
and he's very busy.
He's got two great channels. Two.
I feel so bad for Sony Pictures that they are the ones that are going to have to do the Horizon Zero Dawn movie. Here, go ahead, Culture.
Well, at least they're going to, maybe listen to the Helldivers guy. The director slams DEI in gaming, saying, make good games, not political statements. This is going back to the third. There are many updates to this story, including the movies we were just referencing. There's a lot to find on that that parkplace.com. Sorry. We needed that gameplace.com, which just redirects to the gaming stories. But in a move that has ignited conversations across the gaming community, Spencer, I knew you were talking about it. Johan Pilstedt, the creative director behind Helldivers 2, has taken a firm stance against incorporating diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives into games when they detract from the player experience. His comments come amidst a broader industry debate over the role of social and political themes in game development. And it looks like there was a response from Annex. Annex's original statement, never add DEI to your games. And Pilstedt said, if it doesn't add to the game experience, it detracts. And games should be a pure pursuit of amazing moments. Jonas, that sounds pretty based.
Yes, it is. I love the idea of someone just talking about the experience of playing the game. I don't want to rag on Sony too much over and over again here, but I'm getting really tired of the interactive movie thing. It's and I'm not just talking about Heavy Rain when I say that. Like,
no, it is awful.
I like to play a game, and the closer that a game gets to a movie, the less it is. I don't know. I could go and I could LARP. I could put the effort into that, but I'm not doing that. I'm sitting down on my couch so that I can have a fun experience. And the story can only take you so far. I'm not going to replay that same story over and over and over again. If I'm going to do that, I would like to have my hands free so that I can text on my phone. And you can't do that while you're playing a video game. And maybe that is a lazy and very carnal view of this, but it has to be fun.
It's the video game view of it, because you want the game portion of it. You don't just want the movie.
And and if I ever do live streams of games, this will come up a lot. If I have the option to turn off the QuickTime events, I will do it
every time,
because I feel like they are cheat. They are a cheat meant to pad out the runtime of games. They are no fun.
Well, you also don't like dialogue at all, so
Well,
he's talking to you right now.
No, but I mean,
What do you have against the Zelda CDI games?
I love you, Spencer. Thank you so much.
you're not helpful. But look, what I do
I don't
love
like meaningless dialogue. I played Final Fantasies 1 through 4, and I read every single word, unless it was, okay, you need to go here for this quest, and then they fill in the blank here. But I didn't mind the dialogue at all in that one. So.
Regardless, what I love about this comment and everything else is that Pilstedt said, responding to a fan's suggestion to never include those things, he says, the thing that we just read. But his philosophy centers on prioritizing player immersion and enjoyment over adherence to external political and social narratives. Saying, I don't like labels, but mankind is united in its extreme xenophobia on Super Earth. So maybe that's DEI. I really don't care.
I love it.
I really don't care. Make good games. Don't make a contemporary political statement. That is a wonderful. Maybe that's DEI.
That's
Anyway,
awesome.
Great response.
It is a great. It really truly is. Yeah, he's like, look, I read through this and I'm very appreciative of it at the time. And you know, Mark Kern, otherwise known as Grums, who is a friend of many channels that we are all associated with, you responded in a brilliant way, saying, "Good morning, we're winning." Helldivers CCO Pilstedt says DEI detracts from a game's experience and political messages does not belong in games. But what is notable here is how legacy gaming media is actually covering this now.
That's
Before,
great. That's great, Kern. Where's Ember?
Oh,
before this would never be discussed. Interesting. Yeah. And it would be ignored, buried. The fact that the legacy media is picking up on this means the Overton window has shifted.
is he? Wait. So who is he referring to as the legacy media in this? Because that's an interesting phrase to use to describe insider gaming.
Perhaps. Or maybe
It's almost like he
GameSpot.
just throws that accusation at any outlet and doesn't really engage with the material.
Maybe access media is a better word. I don't know here. I don't legacy gaming media. Anyways, the conversation is good.
Yeah, and the fact that they're going to engage in it. But yes, I think he's highlighting specifically insider gaming with that. I could be wrong. But there is a lot of gaming. Okay, I'm going to use a distinction here. Gaming urinalism that doesn't like gamers very much. And then there's like people who do games journalism that actually like games and gamers. So you're right. It would be nicer if it was delineated more clearly. But he went on further to say the following, which is praising the gaming community for pushing back against what he calls political propaganda in games. With this statement here, we will continue to push against political propaganda that ruins games. We will continue to be heard. Okay. Well, I'm going to say this. Helldivers suffered from some really weird issues. If I'm not recalling something that, you know, you guys recall, let me know. But weren't they fighting the idea that they were that at a later stage people were being forced to sign into PlayStation Network to play the game?
Right. Yeah. So what did it start out on PC and then later came? Yeah. By the way, the Helldivers guys ended up being added to Astrobot later in one of the winter updates. If I can bring Astrobot, a game that is a joy to play at all times, into this conversation. One of the better updates I've seen was they call it the winter update. It's a Christmas update on that game. They also added Spider-Man into it as well. But Helldivers was fascinating because the conversation around it seemed to be like if you could play as a Starship Trooper. That seemed to be the base level. Like, here is the idea here. You have an enemy you want to get rid of. It kind of plays around the ideas of those jingoistic, you could call it a fascist society, but they're also threatened in a way, and they talk about liberty and justice and all those things when it's mostly blowing away evil, ugly space bugs. So it seemed to have, from what I've gathered, it nailed the humor, and it's also a fun game to play. So it was their audience to lose, and I think they did lose that audience for a little bit of time here. So I'm good on Sony, by the way, for the idea that they are greenlighting a Helldivers movie. I think that's great. That's a really good idea. It is almost enough to make up for the idea that they have greenlit a Horizon Zero Dawn movie, which I'm going to say you could call them opposite sides of the same coin to say we're going to do more video game movies, but I really don't know who the audience is for.
All they have to do is just strip out, like, if you go on, guys, you can go on YouTube right now and type in like Horizon Zero Dawn full movie, and uploaders have put all relevant story parts up on YouTube, so you can just watch the cutscenes. All they have to do is put that in the theater.
I'm sure this movie will be just as relevant as the Doom movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
That movie is relevant. You hold your tongue.
Horizon Zero Dawn bored me to death.
That's
the one. That's the one where I'm like, dialogue skip. I cannot stand looking at this. This girl looks very disappointed in everyone she's talking to, and I am not here for it. So, Culture, do you see an instance like this where a developer? Do you think that this guy is feeling free to say whatever he wants about DEI because I have a feeling that at the start of the cycle of making something like Helldivers, the environment was not as open about maybe poking fun at inclusion. I don't want to say that he's poking fun at inclusion, but he didn't say it in that half whispered tone of inclusion. You know, he didn't put much reverence on it in responding to that comment there. Do you think that is an indication that the tone has changed?
I think so. I mean, I've been saying that for a while. I think that the moment we started to see the pushback, we started to see the polls change, we started to see mainstream media start to equivocate or make apologies for what was about to change in the election cycle. When you started to see the backlash have financial repercussions for media companies, for news outlets, and et cetera, I think that the writing was on the wall. So a lot of these people who were out there just trying to make good things and not necessarily be political were able to speak more freely about pushing back against those efforts. And this is where Mr. Kadish and I might disagree, but because everything has been so closely linked together, everything is brushing up against the political divisiveness of it all. I think that people who have sound minds are pushing back on the idea, the idea or in the ideologies that are trying to be forced upon people who might appreciate this form of media, video games, or whatever else it happens to be, film, television, etc. So yeah, I feel like as Grum said in the article and obviously in the tweet that he put out there, the Overton window has surely shifted. I mean, wouldn't you guys agree?
Yes, definitely.
I think 1,000%.
There used to be having come from a corporate environment in the past, you had to be walking on eggshells for certain topics like this, and if you ever said anything that could be construed as even mocking the idea of inclusion, even if you were making fun of the way that people handled themselves about inclusion, that was it. That was an HR conversation right there. So the fact that he can do this and there's no pushback whatsoever, that's a big deal. That is the Overton window shifting. And for those of you who don't know what the Overton window, it's the window of acceptable conversation, named after some guy who happened to get there first in naming that window.
Well, I mean, he's got his name on a window. It's on Main Street, to be fair.
I don't think I'm going to see. I would love to see the Overton Window Company go down Main Street, USA.
The Overton window.
JPEG doesn't even have a window there, and he ran the parks division.
No, seriously,
years.
It would be like the Overton Company. Done. It's
Yep.
the Overton Company.
All right. It does give me hope here. I'm probably not going to have the time to play Helldivers 2. I just now got around to Red Dead Redemption 2. Now you put a Nintendo game in front of me. I finally got it for $20. That was my threshold for Red Dead 2. So,
Culture's face to that.
I think this was the last episode of that gameplay.
guys, I generally I have kids around me most of the time. I'm sorry, I was on my fourth or fifth. Okay, so let me explain to you this. I played Spider-Man on the PS4 and I got a platinum on it, and then I got Spider-Man on the PS5 and I got a platinum on it, and then I got Miles Morales on the PS5 and then I found out they put it on the PS4, so I went and I got a platinum on that. And then I did the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, and then also Ghost of Tsushima. And then I did the same on the PS. Like, I love playing the games that I love to play over and over again. Meanwhile, I'm also whatever Nintendo makes, especially if there's a Pikmin game. My wife does not know what Pikmin is, but if I get the comment of, "You've been playing a lot of video games lately,"
It's probably Pikmin.
It's probably Pikmin.
Okay, so Jonas, I'm just going to say, in honor of the 420 viewers that we have, this was Jonas's last that gameplay stream.
All right, guys.
I'm just kidding. On that note,
I finally got it.
That was a joke, Jonas. You got to come back
Careful
here.
what you wish for.
Chats. You're the super chat guy, Jonas.
Terrible. We're being ripped apart.
Guys, I bought the game. I'm going to have to play it with headphones too.
All right. What was a joke?
Don't guise us. This is culture getting on you. I'm fine with you waiting to save money to play Red Dead.
This is the best argument since the Thanksgiving dinner.
To Neil89 for $5. If I give enough super chats, can one of the live streams be Dark Tide? It has crossplay. I love the fact that crossplay exists, and that Sony finally got with the times on crossplay.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't know what Dark Tide is, but sure.
I don't think we have many PC gamers here.
I mean, I am a PC gamer, but it just doesn't. Maybe if I saw it, but yeah, why not? I'll try it. Why not?
All right. And then for $5 more, I am not influenced by the prospect of having friends to play with. Perish the thought.
I actually
hire people.
I actually like playing with other people on games like that. Like there was this really weird zombie versus the German guys. It was you versus the zombie German guys that I used to love to play.
You versus Zombie from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
No. The zombies, the German folks from the World War II. Those guys, they were all zombies. It was really fun. I don't remember what it was, but
Wolfenstein?
The Kaiser.
Huh?
Was it a Wolfenstein?
No. Although that'd have been fun too. But no, it was I don't know, some kind of it was fun. I played it with a few gamers that I know that you would know. I think
live in Canada.
Script Doctor was from, he played it, and some other friends. So yeah. Dark Tide is fighting against hordes of monsters and cultists. Oh, okay. I'm excited now. Thank you.
Yeah. Who likes cultists? Also, all right, Specialist Jonas has the power to do a Pikmin live stream at TGP. Yes, but which game? Which game? I'm like literally within 3 feet of my head here. I have all the Pikmin games ready to go on a Switch, and I have the deck right here and an Elgato. So perhaps we could.
Pikmin 1. I want to see how fast you can beat the game. Smoky Frog included.
Oh, so you're talking about number 2?
No, the first game. When the egg at the end of the game, or towards the end, Distant Spring, the little bonus fight, you could fight like the toxic monster that tries to kill the Pikmin.
For some reason, I thought Smoky Frog was only in number 2.
He's ridiculous enough in difficulty that you'd expect him to be from the second game, but no, he was in the first one.
Okay. I'll have to go back and check.
I'm very excited. You guys are making me excited.
To Neil89 for $5. As to the article itself, well, if I open the window, I can hear the faint sound of "ree" carried on the wind.
So you opened up the Overton window so you could listen out.
Jacob Foxfires for $5. How many developers suffer from this? We don't want to watch a movie. We want to play them. Helldivers actually makes you feel like you are playing one.
Yeah.
See, that's fun. Like Metal Gear Solid. Which is an excellent example of a game that makes it clear when you're watching a movie versus when you're playing a game.
Very.
You're gonna really enjoy Red Dead 2, is because it's like playing a movie, Jonas.
All right, cool. I will. I also it would. I got about like 3 hours into Red Dead Redemption 1 and did not get the chance to keep going. It was fun though. You know what they should bring back? Gun that Neversoft used to make.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
That was so much fun.
Miss Neversoft.
Yeah. Araxis for 5. What, Jonas? We are taking you diving. Oh, this is a Helldivers reference.
Yep.
I will buy it for you if we have to. Okay. Maybe. All right. We're gonna have to figure out a time when I'm definitely. I might have to move my system up here to the office here. I usually keep the Xbox in the office, which is why I was able to play Outlaws for $20. To Neil 89 for
Donkey
2.
Kong is calling.
I think actually I may have it already, T Neil. So I don't think that purchase would be. Oh wait, you're not talking about Helldivers. You're talking about Dark Tide.
Dark Tide.
I'm sure it's only like $10, dude. Don't sweat it. So, yeah.
Yep. To Neil 89 for 2. I can send it to you on Steam if you want, Culture. And that was oh wait, you were responding to that. I just didn't read it. So I not gonna lie, I would kind of love to binge all the Donkey Kong Country games here because I think I have access to all of them.
If you want to play them and you're having hesitance, I will sit there on the stream and I will co-host with you while you play because I love those games and I would love to see somebody go through them again.
You know, there are some games that I would love to be the color commentator for, like what somebody else plays, because like there's certain parts of games I remember.
White commentator culture. Okay, let's not be let's not appropriate.
Yeah.
What?
We are offended by that word that you just used.
I call dibs being the color commentator for the Pikmin playthrough, just FYI.
No, I like that idea because I mean, like there are parts of games that I want to see somebody else struggle with.
I think they're trying to get me on Fortnite with Wilton again. This is
yes.
I've played Fortnite with Wilton. I just haven't done it on a stream yet.
Well,
So.
Please, when you go on there, wreck them all. Please show them that gameplay superiority.
I started going through all the skins that I have, and I realized I've got some pretty rare skins, some that will never be in the item shop again.
I like the idea that we can do it largely through Discord if we have to, and it'll take off some of the weight off of people's systems to like do that kind of
system load.
So, all right, sounds like 2025. Which gives us a nice long runway to be able to actually get this done.
Yeah.
We will be doing some game streaming on this channel that talks about video games all the time. I'm all for it.
Don't worry, guys. It'll happen before GTA 6. We promise.
And Spencer, were you volunteering to sit there with me while I stream Donkey Kong Country?
Yeah, or whatever else you want to stream.
I was going to say, because that first of all, that would be a joy in so many levels.
Now, before we wrap up, fellas and ladies and all of you gamers out there, I just want to say there were 3 genders. 4, 5. There were 5 other stories we were going to try to get to, but in the 2 hours and 7 minutes that we've been here, I hope you've found a lot of joy and happiness, especially in the fact that we're going to make Jonas do things he doesn't want to.
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
I enjoy doing things.
Oh, no, we're going to make you play games you may not be super happy about.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see here. Red Dead Redemption. I will play a few hours of it for sure, openly. And Helldivers 2, I think, is probably less of a problem. We'll see. I gotta look into some content ratings here before I.
I think you'll really like that because you'll be able to play with the salty gaming guys.
Ooh.
Dutch Butters and everybody. Yeah, you want to be in that
Dutch
loop?
Butter?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him, but I feel like Matt Vader was just too close to his heart, and his heart was sore from that, so he had to become Dutch Butters.
Mm-hmm. It's when you're trying to Dutch oven somebody, but you.
It sounds like Darth Vader. That's funny. Now that I get it, it sounds like Darth Vader, but it's Dutch Butters. It's like somebody's mispronouncing Darth Vader on purpose. All right. That being said, Culture, the show is yours. Do something with it.
Oh, sure. Ladies and gentlemen, and all gamers out there everywhere, we appreciate you joining us today. And we end on the same way that we normally do. But before we do that, we acknowledge that Spencer joined us today. We've been missing you. And that the great Nolan Thunder had time to join us, which was great. And of course, Jonas J. Campbell, Fisher Super Chat reader, was here. And we had Marvin the Movie Monster. So thank you, the mom. I think a lot of people enjoy
I love watching Jonas suffer.
Yeah, well, there you go. And for those of you superstars out there, I will say thank you for being here. The nothing much changed in the leaderboard. Looks like T. Neal gets his wish. He is going to be.
Here, I'll remove that. Yeah,
thank you. He's going to be the platinum man today, and also the gold supporter. Mind you, the only thing that stays at the top is the top donator for all streams for the month. So somebody could come in and undermine T Neal next week. But for now, T Neal 89 gold, silver supporter Jacob Foxfires, and bronze supporter Hawaiian Dragon Star. And on that note, we had an incredible day. You guys were wonderful at supporting us all. Do check out each and everybody's channels. Everything is in the description down below.
Everything.
And most especially, go say hi to our friend Marvin, the Movie Monster, the editor-in-chief of thatparkplace.com, and the amazing guy that hosts, I think, some kind of wrestling thing tonight on his channel. So go look at that.
I think it's Tooneytown TV tonight and wrestling on Thursday.
Oh, well then.
No, it's reverse.
Other way around.
Reverse?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't. I missed the suplex on the reversal.
Which is why you're flat on your back and the guy's counting to 3. Anyway, let's see what else.
I've got that emote.
I'm sure you do. Anything special you guys want to promote before I hit the bye-bye button?
Good mental
Missed you
health.
guys.
All right.
Love you,
On that
Spencer.
note, as we always say, get your game on.